674-2280 with a fax number of 716-674-1063.
Thank you. Ezekiel, the judge here can't do nothing about this, so I'll start talking to them, okay? You understand?
Okay, Mr. Christie, just stand. Your attorney's working on it, so I do find probable cause, and you're being held no bond on this case out of West Seneca Town Police, okay?
Excuse me, Judge.
I don't want you to say anything about the case, okay?
No, I'm not going to say anything. I want to ask Bill something.
Okay.
Excuse me, Bill. Do you know how you was contacted, or you just looked in the computer and seen me in custody?
Somebody saying that your girlfriend called, and then I saw you this morning on the docket. So.
All right. So I'll be able to. I'm gonna call you. Talk about this. All right?
Okay.
So am I going to be getting calls from more girlfriends too, Ezekiel?
Okay.
No, just that one.
Okay. Take.
Judge, can I approach real quick?
Sure. Hang on, I got it.
Oh, my bad.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Hi, good morning.
I have Devontae Robinson, page 22, Your Honor. Steve Melnick on behalf of Mr. Robinson. He's in the main jail in 2C. I know Unit 2C.
Okay, Mr. Robinson? Your attorney's here, so don't say anything about your case, okay? Let me just find your paperwork. What page is it on? 22.
Your Honor, may I approach? I can give you the arrest warrant.
Okay, I need to see.
Okay.
Do I have paperwork besides what you just handed me? Sure. Okay. I do. It's Devontae Robinson. Mr. Robinson, it looks like there's a warrant that was signed by Judge Bailey. That warrant has attached a no bond on it, signed by Judge Bailey already. So I'm going to find probable cause.
Your Honor, we would object to that we feel this should have been an aggravated assault.
Well,
I know.
I understand your objection,
Yeah.
but I'm looking at an arrest warrant.
I know.
The arrest warrant was already signed. It was signed by Judge Bailey, and it was signed on the 27th of May, and it says clearly the defendant is to be held no bond. So any matters that you would have that you need to address would need to be addressed either in the division where the case is.
Can we get a case number or division now at least?
The case number
No,
is
I'm sorry.
170204AF10A.
That's the warrant. That's not the case number.
I understand.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
When we're done with the proceedings this morning, the clerk's office will take the paperwork down. Then they will assign a judge and a case number.
Okay.
See, he has to be booked through and processed.
He's already been booked. He surrendered yesterday at the main jail.
What's your request, Mr.
We're
Martin?
trying to get a division at least so we can get a bond hearing or something for him. And with what's been going on lately with the clerk's office, it's been very difficult to get case numbers and such on us. We should have gotten one yesterday because he went through the jail and surrendered.
Well,
so if we can at least...
Since he's seeing me here this morning, and I'm finding that there is probable cause to hold him based on the warrant signed by Judge Bailey, the clerk's office will then be processing the paperwork, and I'm sure you'll be able to get a case number and set a hearing for whatever you can.
Would they assign it hopefully to Judge Jeffrey Cohen if they could make a note, because it is a DV case because it's a stepfather.
Well,
so
I'm not here to direct
I know
the
that,
clerk's
but the
office.
clerk's office can do something for it, because rather than it does sit in limbo there.
It's not going to sit in limbo. It's going to be processed today. I suggest maybe you go contact the clerk's office later this afternoon and see who it's assigned to.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Robinson.
Okay.
And, Your Honor, I'm sorry. Just in abundance of caution, we'd also ask for an order of no victim contact.
No contact with the victim in this case.
And we hope that the victim stops contacting the victim on the other case, who is his mother, because he's been in touch, the alleged victim's been in touch with and making threats to that, and she's gone to the state attorney's office on this, and they've done nothing.
Steve, you're
Steve,
you're looking at me. I'm not going to address
I know that,
It's
Eric.
not-
Okay, so this is not a go back and forth, Mr.
know that,
Melnick.
but
This is a first appearance hearing. I appreciate you being here on behalf of Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robinson, there is a warrant that was signed. I also am directing Mr. Robinson not have any contact with Charles Simpson. You understand? Anybody else have anything, okay, that we need to call out of turn? Good morning.
Judge, we have one on the docket on page 27, Giovanni Tiggs.
Say the last name, please.
Tiggs, T-I-G-G-S. His attorney is Rachel Newman, and she's requesting that he be sent over to the afternoon docket.
Okay, so when I get to it, will you let me know that? Because I can't find it right this second in this paperwork. Okay? Is everybody ready to proceed with the rest of the docket? Okay. Valencia Moss. Where's Miss Moss? Pardon? Paul Ryan, thank you.
Oh, I don't know.
Miss Moss?
Yes.
Good morning. You're charged with touch or strike battery domestic violence. I do find probable cause in your case. Does anybody wish to be heard with regard to bond?
No, Judge.
Any priors?
No, Your Honor.
I don't believe so.
Judge, she's been here for 25 years. She has family here, and she works in security, and she does have a place to live separate and apart from the alleged victim.
Hey, Miss Moss,
Yes.
I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. Okay?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And as a condition of that release, however, I'm going to order that you have no contact with Arturo Jabari Mitchell. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
No contact, direct or indirect. You know what that means?
Understand. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. Make sure that you follow up with this because you will have a court date that you need to attend.
I understand.
Nothing on this case, Your Honor. Your Honor, if it please the court, there's another case where I just found out detectives here and the victim's family showed up. I was hoping we could call it at a turn.
Okay, if you want to give me the name.
Of course. It's Edward Collins on page 19, providing both defense counsel and Your Honor with a copy of the warrant affidavit. Nineteen.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, Your Honor.
How are you?
Good, ma'am.
If you just put your name on the record for us, please.
Detective Mark Murray, the Miramar Police Department.
Okay. And anybody else who's here, if you just put your name on the record?
Steve Gomez.
One of the victims, Stephen Gomez.
Okay.
And his wife.
Elaine Margarita Castillo Gonzalez.
Okay. And your name, ma'am?
Good morning, Your Honor. Ileana Herrera, private detective on the case.
Okay. Thank you. And Mr. Collins, where's Mr. Collins?
Main jail.
Main jail. Good morning. Mr. Collins charged with aggravated stalking after an injunction for protection. It looks like there was a warrant signed by Judge Calra already, and that warrant contains a bond in the amount of $30,000. Does anyone want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, the state, and I understand Judge Culver said a $30,000 bond. The state is satisfied with that. Your Honor, the only other release conditions we'd be asking Your Honor to set, and we can provide testimony if the court deems it necessary, but based on the allegations, we're going to be requesting that should Mr. Collins post his bond, he be supervised by pretrial release services with a GPS monitor, and obviously in order of no victim contact, no contact with any members of Mr. Collins' family.
As a condition of the bond that's set in the amount of $30,000, Judge Calra did put on there no victim contact. Understand? You understand that? Just yes or no?
He said yes.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Yes. Yes.
there was a phone call made out of Dade County Jail to the victim. I haven't confirmed it yet, but there was no reason for the victim to be contacted by Dade County Jail. I'm still waiting from the Internal Affairs Department on Miami-Dade to get me the specifics on that phone call. But why he was in jail, someone from Dade County Jail did contact the victim.
He's in the Broward County Jail.
Well, when he was arrested, he was arrested in Miami. He was taken to Miami-Dade Jail, TGK,
Okay.
and extradited back up here on Wednesday.
Okay, well, Mr. Collins, just be advised that this warrant sets a $30,000 bond and no contact with the victim, and you understand that, correct?
Yes.
I'm also going to order, as a further condition of your bond, if you are able to post the $30,000 bond, that you be monitored by pretrial release on a GPS monitor. Pardon me?
Is the defendant permitted to work?
He is permitted to work if the pretrial release confirms that he is employed.
Understood. Regarding the $5 per day fee, is it waived or must he pay?
He must pay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning. Is it Mabed?
Yes, ma'am.
You're here this morning on a violation of probation. I do find probable cause. There is a warrant for your arrest on the violation of probation. It's a no bond hold from Judge Shear. You need to see Judge Shear. It looks like you're scheduled for June the 5th at 8:45 in the morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Lisa Santoro Davis. Hi, good morning. You're here on several capiases or warrants, Ms. Santoro Davis. First one is a misdemeanor warrant where there's a $100 bond. You're also on, it looks like, one case with 4 counts from Judge Tobin Singer. You're being held no bond on that case until you see Judge Tobin Singer for failing to appear at an arraignment on April 26. I do find probable cause. You'll see Judge Singer on this case. Tobin Singer.
Your Honor. And if you want to, after the next case, if there's another, I just want to ask if there's a case we call to term.
Okay. Katrina Burgess. Good morning, Ms. Burgess.
Good morning.
Charged with violating your probation on 2 separate cases. You need to see Judge Robinson. I do find probable cause. It looks like you're going to see Judge Robinson on June the 6th at 8:30 in the morning, okay?
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, if we
Yes,
could,
which one?
thank you. If we could call Valerie Gorokov, he's on, I believe, page 27 or 28.
Okay. Valerie Gorkov?
Judge, just so the court knows that we just so the court knows that we speaks Russian. We've called for a Russian interpreter. They said that he would be available at 2 o'clock. So I would just ask that this get reset to the afternoon docket.
Okay, we'll reset it to 1:30.
We'll be back at 1:30.
I give those back to you, right? Whitney Henry. Where's Miss Henry?
Main jail. She's here.
Good morning, Miss Henry. You're charged with grand theft. I do find probable cause as to your case. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000.
Okay.
Natalie Taylor.
North Broward.
Ms. Taylor, you're here on driving on a suspended license, 3rd or subsequent offense, failing to register a vehicle, and expired tag less than 6 months. On count 1, I do find probable cause. Your bond is set in the amount of $750.
They can't go lower.
$750 is the bond.
They can't do it. I'm supposed to see if you could OR or do it lower. So
No, the bond's going to stay at $750.
is that $750 cash or what?
$750 is your total bond.
I'm saying, can you get a bond fund on that?
I'm not here to give you advice on what to do. Your bond is $750. Okay? Diamond Creech. Good morning. here on aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. Alleged not in custody Capias.
I don't know that you had the full probable cause affidavit, so I printed, if you don't, I printed a copy out, Your Honor.
I do have the probable cause affidavit, and I
So
have.
did I. I just had one page, so I don't know if you had both pages.
I do have it.
Okay.
The question I have is that the probable cause affidavit has it charged as ag assault firearm, and then the not in custody Capias.
I think under the statute, it's aggravated assault with a firearm and/or deadly weapon, like the robbery statute, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's charged on the Capias as a ag assault with deadly weapon. You see that?
Yes, I do. Well, that's on the Capias, Your Honor. One moment.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, it's under the statute. I believe, just like where it's robbery, it's aggravated assault with a firearm and/or deadly weapon. That's just how it was worded in the information, deadly weapon, but it specifically lists, and I'm looking at the information right now.
Okay.
The deadly weapon as a firearm.
Okay, so it's charged pursuant to 784021-1A
Yes.
as a second degree or as a third degree?
At this point, I'm showing. One moment, Your Honor. Third degree.
Okay, so I do find probable cause. Do you have any priors on this?
One moment, Judge. Pulling that right now. Showing theft 2012, possession of alprazolam with intent to sell, deliver, and resisting without violence in 2008.
2000 what?
8.
You have a recommendation as to bond?
Your Honor, the state would be requesting a $10,000 bond and no victim contact.
Okay, the victim's name is blacked out in my probable cause
It
affidavit.
is Stephen Love.
Stephen
Love, L-O-V-E.
Defense wish to be heard? Diamond Creech.
Yes.
I find probable cause, and I'm going to set bond in the amount of $10,000 on this warrant, on this case. You have also to have no contact with Stephen Love. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. Natalie Birdson. Ms. Birdson, good morning.
It's Miss Bridson. I'm here.
Bridson?
Bridson.
Bridson, good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
You're here on a violation of probation. I do find probable cause. Judge Duffy signed a warrant for you. You need to see Judge Duffy on June the 6th at 9 o'clock in the morning. You'll be held no bond until you see Judge Duffy.
And what am I being held for? I don't understand.
Violation of probation.
For what? How did I violate?
There's a warrant that was signed by Judge Duffy on May the 30th, 2017.
I have no idea why I'm even here, Judge.
Okay, well, I'm telling you that there's a warrant that was signed by Judge Duffy, and it indicates that was a positive urine sample obtained from you on 5/10/17 and confirmed by the lab on 5/15, positive for cocaine. So you need to see Judge Duffy about that, okay?
And when do I see him?
Her.
I'm sorry.
June the 6th at 9 o'clock in the morning.
June 6th.
Yes. Sierra McMullen.
Coming for her, Your Honor.
Ms. McMullen, good morning.
Good morning.
Charged with one count of grand theft, between over $300,000, less than $5,000. Bond on that case is $1,000. I do find probable cause as to that. You're also being held no bond on violation of probation by Judge Singer, Tobin Singer. You need to see Judge Tobin Singer on June the 5th at 9 o'clock in the morning. You'll be held no bond until then.
Thank you.
Stephanie Michalik. Good morning. Charged with possession of cocaine, possession of heroin, possession of drug paraphernalia, and failing to stop at a yield or stop sign. I do find probable cause as to each of those counts. On count 1, possession of cocaine, bond is set in the amount of $1,000. Count 2, possession of heroin, bond is set in the amount of $1,000. Count 3 and 4, bond is $100 each. If you are to bond out, you are going to be supervised by pretrial release. You're going to be required to call them 3 times per week. You're also going to be required to submit to a drug and or alcohol evaluation within 7 days of your release, and comply with any treatment that's recommended as a result of that evaluation. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor. May I ask you a question?
Yes.
My mom's in Italy and I was going to halfway. Would I be able to get out pre-trial ROR?
No, your bond is $2,200.
Okay.
Okay. Do I sign? Oh, there's more? Oh. Okay, they're all violations, though. Thank you. Tranisha Epps. This Miss Epps? Is this you? Okay, Miss Epps, you're here on a, looks like a not in custody capias was filed, in this case, alleging attempted robbery with a weapon. Case was direct filed into Judge Siegel's division based on a juvenile probable cause affidavit. Does state have any?
Just to advise the court the other charges that Ms. Epps is being held on. She's got a carjacking without a firearm or weapon, strong arm robbery, and battery on a person over the age of 65. $25,000 bonds on each of those, and I believe those were set after Judge Siegel had a bond reduction hearing. Strong arm robbery, $15,000. Another count with $10,000. Burglary of a structure, $5,000. She's being held no bond on a robbery with a weapon. I'll leave the bond in this case in the court's discretion.
So this was an additional charge?
It's, yes, just based on additional investigation, they made this determination.
Okay, on this case, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $10,000. I do find probable cause. Daniel Sims.
Hey, Joe.
Morning, Mr. Sims.
Good morning.
Mr. Sims is here on a case from 2011 where it looks like there was a capias or warrant for trespass. Mr. Sims, this case actually belongs in my division. If you'd like to resolve it this morning, we could do so.
I would like to.
Okay, would you like to talk to him for a second about that, or are you okay with that?
If I can have just 1 second, Judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
He wants to resolve it, Judge.
Yeah, I know. Pardon me?
He still wants to resolve it.
Okay, Mr. Sims, if you'd raise your right hand for me, sir. You swear or affirm to tell me the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
You can put your hand down. Would you state your full legal name?
Daniel Sims.
Mr. Sims, you're here this morning on a case that's back from 2011. Looks like you were charged back then with trespass on property or structure. You understand that?
I understand.
You have an absolute right to have a trial on this case if you'd like to on another day, or you could resolve it today with me by way of entering a plea of guilty or no contest. Would you like to do that?
Yes, I would.
Okay, you understand that by entering a plea here this morning, you're going to give up your right to have a trial on this case, though.
All right.
You understand that?
I understand.
Have you had an opportunity to consult with, excuse me, the attorney that's standing next to you?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with the advice that he gave you this morning?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then I'm going to ask you, are you under the influence of any alcohol or drugs here this morning would affect your ability to understand what you're doing?
No, ma'am.
Ever been treated for a mental illness?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to ask you how you'd like to plead to one count of trespass, guilty or no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I'll find you're alert, intelligent, and you understand the nature of the charge and the consequence of the plea. I'm going to withhold adjudication of guilt on your case. I'm going to impose $293 in court costs, and I'm going to give you 6 months to pay that $293. You understand?
I understand.
Okay. I wish you good luck, sir.
All right.
Chad Driggers.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Driggers, you're here on a trespass, failure to leave a property ordered by the owner. You understand that?
Yeah.
I do find probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $25. Would you like to resolve the case?
I'd like to resolve it. I plead no contest.
Okay, if you enter into a plea of no contest today to this charge, going to adjudicate you guilty and sentence you to 5 days in the Broward County Jail. Is that what you'd like to do? Or would you like to post the bond?
I kind of have to get out. I mean, can you release me on my own recognizance
No.
where I can come back to court?
Bond is $25, sir.
Can I make a phone call to post the bond?
Sure, they can help you with a phone call.
Okay.
Okay? I find probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $25.
Okay.
Michael Tapia.
Judge, this is a municipal ordinance case.
Mr. Tapia, you're charged with 3 separate municipal ordinances. Street solicitation, failure to wear a OSHA vest, and consumption of alcohol in public. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
I do find probable cause. Your bond is set in the amount of $25. If you'd like to resolve this case today, I would offer to adjudicate in 5 days in the county jail. Credit for any time you have in.
Yeah, I'd like to resolve it.
Okay, you understand you don't have to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
You absolutely have a right to have a trial if you'd like one. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand, sir, please. You swear or affirm to tell me the truth?
I do.
What's your name, sir?
Michael Scott Tapia.
Mr. Tapia, as I said, you're here on 3 separate municipal ordinance violations. How would you like to plead, guilty or no contest?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. On each of the cases, I'm going to sentence you to 5 days in the Broward County Jail and give you credit for any time served. Each of those is to run concurrent with each other. You understand?
Yeah, so I just do 5 days for all 3?
5 days total with credit for any time you have in.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
2 days left. All right.
Thomas Lee.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Lee. You're here this morning for trespassing. I do find probable cause as to your case. Bond is set in the amount of $25. If you'd like to resolve the case today, it would be 5 days in the Broward County Jail with credit for any time you have in.
Your Honor, I have a clean record. I'm blind and I'm homeless, and I don't have no money. There's no way to obtain it.
I understand your bond's $25.
Judge, in light of what he's indicated to the court, if he has no prior record, I would ask the court if the court would consider if he wishes to resolve it either time serving him or ROing him so that he can get out.
Where are you going to go, Mr. Lee?
I tried to get up to my brother's place in West Palm Beach. Stay with him for a while.
Do you have any priors on him?
No.
1 moment, Judge.
Is your name Thomas Gordon Lee?
Yes, ma'am.
looks like, other than traffic priors, he had like 10 years ago, fish and wildlife violation misdemeanor.
What's the address on Polk Street in Hollywood, sir?
That's my old house I lost.
Okay. All right. If you want to enter a plea today, I'll give you credit for time served.
Yes, I will.
Okay. How would you like to plead, guilty or no contest?
No contest.
Okay. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served in the Broward County Jail. See if you can't get your brother to help you out so you can get on your feet.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good luck. Good luck to you, sir. Kevin Foster. Good morning, Mr. Foster.
Good morning, Your Honor.
You're here on a violation of probation on a DUI case with Judge Evans. I do find probable cause Judge Evans is holding you no bond until you see him, which will be on June the 7th at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Judge, on my paperwork, it shows that he has a $500 bond for the violation.
Actually, it does show that on the warrant. I don't know why it says it does show 500 on my paperwork as well. Sorry about that. There's a $500 bond. You do have a date to see Judge Evans on June the 7th at 9 o'clock. Okay? Thank you.
No problem.
Courtney Bryant. Good morning. Mr. Bryant, you're here on driving on a suspended driver's license and a capias on 2 misdemeanor cases from Judge Levy Cohen. On the driving on a suspended license, I do find probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $100. On the capias for Judge Levy Cohen, each count there's a bond of $250 for a total of $500 on that case. And there's an out-of-county hold from Miami-Dade County where there's a $5,000 bond. I do find probable cause. It looks like you have a court date to see Judge Levy Cohen on the misdemeanor case on June the 9th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Gabriel Williams.
He bonded.
Bonded. I do find probable cause. Jonathan Green.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Green, you're here charged with 1 count of driving under the influence and 4 counts of driving under the influence with property damage. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I do find probable cause. As to count 1, bond is set in the amount of $500. As to counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, bond is set in the amount of $1,000 per count, for a total of $4,500 bond. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any priors on this?
One moment, Judge. Showing anything, Judge?
Okay. Bond is $4,500, sir.
All right. Thank you, Your
Rian
Honor.
Hashim Papa.
Did he decline the CD?
Pardon?
He declined the public defender.
And over here, what'd you say? It has? Okay, Mr. Papa, you're here on a violation of probation on a misdemeanor case. It looks like your bond was set in the amount of $1,000. I'm told your bond has been posted. I do find probable cause. Jonathan Mayo. Mr. Mayo, good morning. You're charged with grand theft, count 18, count 19, dealing in stolen property, and count 20, false ownership information pond items $300 or more. Mr. Mayo, I do find probable cause as to each of those counts. Mr. Mayo being held on other cases?
Yes, Judge. He's got he's being held on one case, no bond for violating pretrial. He's got $3,500 bonds on other dealing in stolen properties and false ownership info. State's just going to be requesting that the convenience bonds be kept in place.
Okay, so the bond on count 18, which is grand theft, is $1,000. The bond on count 2, dealing in stolen property, is $3,500. And the bond on count 20, false ownership of information pond items $300 or more, is $3,500. I do find probable cause as to all counts. Travis Eckstein.
Conti, Your Honor.
Good morning. Mr. Eckstein, you're here charged with 1 count of burglary, unoccupied dwelling, unarmed, and 1 count of petty theft, first degree, property $100 to $300. Mr. Eckstein have other cases?
He does, Your Honor. He's being held on 2 other burg dwellings as at $5,000 each. Just going to ask that the same $5,000 bond be placed on this burg dwelling that was placed on his others.
Okay, on count 3, burglary of a dwelling, I do find probable cause to set bond in the amount of $5,000. On the petty theft, first degree, I do set bond in the amount of $100. Malik Sherrod Perry.
Thank you. Judge, he indicated he's going to hire private counsel.
Malik Sherrod Perry. State, with regard to probable cause, do you see any reference to a place of worship or?
It's a word convenience store, so it notes that these both the transactions occurred in the parking lot of USA Grocers.
Okay, so I'm assuming USA Grocers is what they're alleging is the convenience business.
Yes.
Okay. I do find probable cause, Mr. Perry, as to delivery of cocaine within 1,000 feet of a place of worship or convenient business, and count 4, delivery of oxycodone within 1,000 feet of a place of worship or convenience business. Bond is set in the amount of $7,500 on each count. Nicholas Thompson.
North Broward, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson, good morning. Are you Nicholas Jamal Thompson?
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with grand theft auto. I do find probable cause as to that count. It looks like this is an ad charge. Bond is set in the amount, do you have any?
He's got $9,000 bonds on his other bonds.
Bond is set in the amount of $1,000 on this count, sir. Nicholas Massa.
Conti, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Mr. Massa, you're here this morning charged with retail theft, $300 plus coordinating with others. I do find probable cause as to that charge. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000.
Is that an add-on, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, so $200 would satisfy.
Bond is set in the amount of $1,000 on this count.
His bond's $1,000 on the other count.
And you have $1,000 on another count. That would mean you have a total of $2,000 bond.
Very good.
Emilio Gordon Smith. Where's Mr. Gordon Smith?
Judge, he's here. Just so the court knows, he indicated he's going to hire Hugo Apollon.
Okay.
That's how you say his last name. He has a private attorney that he's going to hire.
Okay. Mr. Gordon Smith, good morning. It looks like this is an ad charge. It's charged as count 6, possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause, and the bond is set on this particular count in the amount of $1,000. Okay. Quavon Moore. Good morning, Mr. Moore.
Hello.
Charge with resisting an officer with violence. I do find probable cause. Have you input into this one?
So,
This is alleged battery at the jail.
yeah, Your Honor, just to understand why it's a not in custody, this happened allegedly happened when Mr. Moore was in custody on a aggravated assault, I believe. One moment. Yes, on an aggravated assault and a touch or strike battery. He was ROR'd about 3 days after the alleged incident, so he was no longer in custody. So I guess deputies at the jail, whoever prepared the reports, sent it to the state attorney's office as a not in custody.
Okay, so what's the status of that case?
That case,
Because this is a not in custody case where I need to set a bond.
yes. The status of that case is. It looks like it was declined, and there's, yeah, it was declined, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Moore, are you hearing us? Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, so this case is a case where you're charged with resisting an officer with violence. And does the state have a recommendation on bond?
Your Honor, I was just going to be asking for a $1,000 bond.
Okay, on this case, I'm going to set $1,000 bond, Mr. Moore, on this case. You understand? I do find probable cause.
Okay.
Okay? Brian Francois? Where's Mr. Francois?
Hey, Joe, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Mr. Francois, good morning. You're here on a violation of probation warrant. Looks like a warrant was signed by Judge Bailey. You're being held no bond. There's a violation of probation hearing scheduled for June the 5th at 9 o'clock in the morning. I do find probable cause. Terrence Everett Mitchell.
Your Honor.
He's on his way up there.
Okay.
And, Your Honor, if before the court makes a finding, if I could be heard.
Sure.
Just reading the probable cause affidavit, I think grand theft auto is a more appropriate charge. If the court, I don't know if the court agrees. There is no mention of a dollar amount.
Right. Okay. Mr. Mitchell, you're charged by way of a probable cause affidavit with grand theft. I'm finding probable cause with regard to grand theft of an auto.
If I may.
The bond?
Your Honor, it appears that Mr. Mitchell is out right now on a grand theft auto and resisting without violence. He also had in 2014 delivery of cocaine, 34-month state prison. Grand theft 2011 with the VOP, 34-month state prison. 2011, 2 counts of burglary, conveyance, grand theft, petty theft. He received the same prison sentence concurrently. And in 2011, burglary of a conveyance, VOP, 34-month state prison.
Would you look up case number 17004396 CF10A?
Of course, Judge, and that was the open grand theft auto.
And what's the date of that incident?
Pulling that right now for you, Your Honor.
Judge, I'm sorry, can you repeat the case number?
17004396 CF10A.
Thank you, Judge.
sorry. I just need to. I know.
You're not finding it?
No, it's not March. I am, Your Honor. I'm just trying to figure out. It appears, Your Honor, just so you understand, so the court's clear in the history, the procedural history. There was found no probable cause April 17th. He was ultimately ROR'd. The state filed an information May 22nd.
And the date of the incident?
The date of the incident was March 26th.
Okay, so if he was ROR'd, then he's on an ROR status right now.
Yes, and while, frankly, while the court could still...
Yeah, I'm not going to do anything with that case. You need to just be advised, Mr. Mitchell, that you're out on bond on another case. I'm not going to revoke that bond today based on what I'm hearing. But on this case, I'm going to increase the bond to $2,500. And I do find probable cause as to a grand theft auto. James Dorman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Dorman, you're here on possession of alprazolam, possession of cocaine, and possession of heroin. I do find probable cause as to each of those cases and those charges, and the bond is set in the amount of $1,000 on each of those for a total of $3,000 bond. You're also here on a violation of probation warrant and a violation of community control warrant. Those cases you're going to be held no bond until you see the judge on that case. The case is scheduled for June the 6th at 8:30 in the morning. Travis Coney. Good morning, Mr. Coney. Is that how you say it, Coney? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, you're charged with resisting an officer without violence, destroying or damaging electronic monitoring equipment, and a warrant for a violation of your pretrial release. On count 1, I do find probable cause. Count 2, I find probable cause. On count 2, bond is set in the amount of $1,000. On the warrant for violating a pretrial release, there's a no bond hold. You'll need to see your judge on that case.
Okay.
Adriel Esteban Alvarado. Mr. Alvarado?
Good morning.
Good morning. You're charged with burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, and you're also charged with possession of alprazolam. I do find probable cause as to each of those. Does the state wish to be heard?
Just to advise the court, I'm not showing any criminal history.
Okay. Yes.
He's been here for 10 years, and he's presently unemployed, but he's going to school for his GED, and he does have a little bit of help for bond.
He does what?
He does have some help for making a bond.
Okay, on count 1, the burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,500. On count 2, possession of alprazolam, bond is set in the amount of $1,000. Your total bond, sir, is $2,500.
I just asked for an additional order that he not return to the property where this allegedly occurred.
Okay, there's no return to the location where this incident occurred, which is 9 Northeast 19th Court. You understand?
Yes.
You understand not to go to that location? Okay, that's a condition of your bond. Eric Huminski.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Where's he?
Hey, Joe. Sorry.
Mr. Huminski, you're here charged with burglary of an unoccupied conveyance unarmed. I do find probable cause. Any prior history?
Out of the state of Georgia, DUI 2010, that's all I see, Your Honor.
Okay. I do find probable cause. I'm setting bond in the amount of $1,500. There's also a condition of that bond, sir, that you not return to 9 Northeast 19th Court in Wilton Manors. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
$1,500 bond. Gary Demetrius Thurman. Mr. Thurman, you're charged with domestic battery by strangulation. I do find probable cause as to that count. State.
Yes, Your Honor. One moment. I'm showing at the state of Georgia an arrest in 2000 for reckless conduct that was dropped. I am not showing any additional criminal history. Based on the allegations in this case, Your Honor, the level of violence alleged, the state would be requesting a $7,500 bond and no victim contact.
Judge, if I could just tell the court real quick, he was pretrial release. Spoke to him this morning. He didn't realize what they were talking to him about or whatever. He indicated he didn't want pretrial, but if the court's inclined to do that, he wanted me to let the court know that he is inclined to do pretrial release. He just didn't understand it when they first approached him. I can tell the court that he is a truck driver. He delivers within the Tri-County area, so it's not like he's going out of state or anything like that. He is single. He has 2 children that are aged 14 and 6, and then he does. He also has no money in the bank at the current time. He needs to get out and try to get back to work. So I would ask the court if the court would consider. We always ask that the court consider releasing on ROR, but if the court's not inclined to do that, I would ask that the court consider releasing him for pretrial release, especially in light of the fact that he has, for all intents and purposes, no criminal record.
His booking sheet says he has 1 month of residence in Pompano Beach.
If I can just have 1 second.
Did you interview him from pretrial release?
No, we did not, Your Honor. Based on his domestic violence charge, also, we do not make recommendations for domestics.
Okay.
If the court wanted to set him for afternoon, and we could interview him, but we're not recommending.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
He indicated that he's lived here a year and a month.
Okay. I'm going to set bond. I do find probable cause for domestic battery by strangulation. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $7,500. As a condition of that bond, I'm going to direct that he have no contact whatsoever with Gisette Perez. Lem McKinney. Morning, Mr. McKinney. Here on a violation of probation on 2 separate cases. It looks like a 2013 case and a 2003 case. Both of those cases are being held no bond. You need to see Judge Backman. It looks like you're scheduled to see him on June the 5th at 8 o'clock in the morning. I do find probable cause. Malik Wilson.
Your Honor, if we could put this case on recall.
Okay.
Got an officer coming in.
Are you here on Mr. Wilson? We're going to put it on recall, okay? Thank you. You can stay here. We're going to call it back. How much time do you need to recall it?
I've got an officer. I was told he should be here within a few minutes.
Okay, so we're just waiting for someone. You can step out if you'd like, or you can stay right here, whatever your pleasure. Okay? Oh, sorry. Thank you for noticing. Michael Diaz.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Diaz. You're here this morning on, looks like, 3 separate cases of violation of probation. One case out of 2013, one case from 2014, and one case from 2016. It looks like you're being held no bond on a violation of probation warrant for Judge Usan. You'll need to see Judge Usan on June the 5th at 9 o'clock in the morning. I do find
no question about that. I was
Well,
told
talk to
by
the
Judge
talk to
Usan
the attorney that's there, okay?
No, it's just a question about the court date. I was told July 13th. I just want to make sure that it's June 5th, not July 13th, because he told me July 13th.
Who's he?
So I'm not sure.
Who's he?
Michael Usan.
Well, if you've already seen Judge Usan, then he's in charge of his own dates. This is just a date that's written on the paperwork for me here this morning. So, if you
Okay. All right. Thank you.
okay, Leon Harden, Mr. Harden.
He's on his way up.
Mr. Hardin, here charged with grand theft. You're also charged with resisting an officer without violence. Looks like you have a probation violation on a case from 2003 and a violation of probation from a case from 2009 and another violation of probation or community control. And so on each of those violation cases, you're being held no bond. On the grand theft charge, I do find probable cause. On the resisting an officer without violence, I do find probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000 on count 1. No bond on the others. Looks like you'll see your judge on June the 7th at 8:30 in the morning, okay? Maynard Vincent.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Vincent is charged with grand theft in an amount between $300 and $5,000. I do find probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000.
Judge, what he's asking for, I can tell the court, he's lived here for approximately 10 years, he's single, he has no children, he works doing shipping, he has no money in the bank, he does have a good job though, he doesn't want to miss, he'll miss tomorrow. I don't know if the court would consider either RORing him or perhaps placing him on pretrial release so that he can get out. He indicated he can't afford the $1,000 right now.
Does he have any prior history?
I see.
No, I never got arrested.
Was he interviewed by pretrial release?
He was interviewed, but we were unable to verify his information. We contacted his reference, but their voicemail is full, and so we couldn't verify it.
Okay.
If the court is inclined to sign an order pending verification of pretrial, the bond would remain the same, or the court could do whatever the court chooses with the bond. But we could write an order pending verification, and we would not process the order until and unless we have verified.
Okay, does Mr. Vincent live in Miami Gardens?
Yes.
Okay, did you hear the conversation I had with pretrial?
I did, Judge.
Okay.
I heard it.
So what I'm inclined to do is I'm inclined to grant his request for an ROR to pretrial pending the confirmation of the information that they got from him, which they have not been able to verify to up to this point. So I'll do that, and then was it better if I just reset it for 1:30, or is
No, you're right. You don't need to reset it.
Okay.
You can just write on that paper that you have
Yes.
pending pretrial verification. We will continue to work at it.
okay?
My number.
No, I said leave the bond.
So I should leave the bond at
You're going to leave the bond the way it is.
Okay.
And just write pending.
okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave the bond at $1,000 pending pretrial verification. Okay? You understand?
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Thank you. Bruce Sapp. Good morning, Mr. Sapp. You're charged with battery on an officer, firefighter, EMT, or security guard. I do find probable cause. Is there any priors?
One moment. Just have a very old, mid-'80s loitering and prowling.
Okay. That's
Judge, I
it?
can indicate he's lived here all of his life, that he is single, he has no children. He also has he gets SSI for a physical disability. He has no money in the bank at this time. He does have family members that live here. I don't believe that he's a flight risk in light of his having no criminal record for the last at least 20 years. I would ask the court to consider RORing him
or place him on pretrial release if the court's not inclined to pay to ROR him.
My concern is he lives in Winmore, and this incident occurred at the security gate at Winmore, which I'm assuming he's going to have to go to and fro to get to his house. And the alleged victim is a security officer who works at that location. So,
what I would ask, if it satisfies the court, if the court's inclined to do an order, just no direct physical contact
okay.
with the listed security guard.
I do find probable cause as to the battery on a security officer. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,500. I'm also going to order as a condition of that bond, sir, that you have no direct physical contact with Anthony George Manley. You understand that?
Yes.
And no verbal contact with him other than what is required for you to enter and exit that location. You understand?
Yes, yes.
No other gratuitous comments or words between the two of you. You understand?
Yes.
That's a condition of your $1,500 bond.
Okay. I'll go over there.
Door's heavy. Sometimes people might try to, like, if it doesn't open.
Courtney Ebanks. Is Mr. Courtney's name Ebanks? Ebanks?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Ebanks, you're charged with fraudulent use, possession of an ID of another person without consent, and unauthorized possession of a blank or stolen driver's license. You understand? I do find probable cause as to each of those counts. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000 on each count.
Well, Judge, you wanted to know if the court would consider either RORing or release to pretrial. He's lived here for 12 years. He is single. He has one child that's 8 months old. He works a construction job. He has maybe a few $100s in the bank. And he indicated that all of his family members live here in the area.
No, bond is set at an amount of $1,000 each count.
I spoke with his reference who indicated that they were, quote unquote, gathering some money and posting his bond.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
His family, his contacts have indicated they're attempting to gather some money to post his bond.
Great. Thank you very much, Judge. They're going to work on it.
Thank you. Yes.
State is prepared to proceed on Malik Wilson's case whenever you're on.
Malik Wilson.
And
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Before the court proceeds,
Are you here on his behalf? You can leave your purse right there. And you can come stand right over here next to the table. There you go.
Your Honor, before the court makes any determination, I asked Officer Pugh to come to court to provide the court with additional details about the robberies. And actually, one other thing I'd like to advise the court of, we're only asking the court to make a determination at this time on 2 counts of robbery firearm because there was, at this time, witnesses or victims were unable to make an identification with regards to the 3rd robbery. We have no objection to the court finding no PC on count 3 at this time.
Okay, so count 3 is the one where there was no identification.
Yes, that's how we'll treat it as for today's purposes, Your Honor.
Okay. And would you like to raise your right hand, sir? You swear or affirm to tell me the truth?
I do.
If you just put your hand down and state your name, please.
First name's Michael, last name is Pugh, spelled P-E-U-G-H.
And, officer, would you tell me who you're employed by?
The City of Fort Lauderdale Police Department.
Okay, State, do you have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Officer Pugh, you investigated and made an arrest on multiple counts of robbery with a firearm, arresting Malik Wilson from May 31st of this year?
Yes, sir.
What I would like to do, if you could first go through the first alleged robbery with a firearm, if you could please tell the court what facts or what are the allegations of that robbery?
The victim advised he was gathering mangoes from in front of his property when Malik and his co-defendant, Devontae, approached him from behind, told him not to move, went into his pockets, demanded personal items from him at gunpoint, and his co-defendant was the one who was holding he described it as a smaller, like possibly a 9mm handgun, and Malik was the one who actually gathered the property from the victim, and then they fled the scene from there, putting the victim in fear for his life.
Tell the court what property of his was taken.
I believe it was a wallet and a cell phone.
Okay, and then on the second charge, could you please tell the court what the facts are with regards to the second robbery firearm?
The victim was walking down 15th Street. I believe it was in front of 1608, Northwest 16th Street. Both Malik and the co-defendant approached the victim from behind. They grabbed her, demanded her purse and her cell phone. They physically snatched her cell phone out of her hand and removed the purse from her. She described Malik as holding a large, she called it like a box type firearm, which ended up later, we discovered it was like a Tech 9 or an Uzi type firearm. And they physically removed her property and then fled the scene from there, which was maybe about 30 to 45 minutes after the first one.
And could you please tell the court how Mr. Wilson was identified as being involved in each of these robberies in each case?
Yeah, there was a show-up conducted by the victim of the first one, who identified both of them positively as being the culprits. The second case, the victim identified Malik. She was unable to identify the co-defendant. However, there was a witness to the event on 16th Street. They told her to shut up and go back inside. So she did so because they were armed. But she was able to positively identify both of them as being the culprits in the second robbery.
And in your report, it mentions that a witness also gave a sworn statement advising where Mr. Wilson hid his firearm, bicycle, and hooded sweatshirt.
Correct. So I understand there was no charge on the third robbery. So there was a third robbery following the first two, shortly after.
Okay.
The court's already found no probable cause.
Well, I haven't found no probable cause. I'm listening, but the state has no objection to me not finding probable cause because they've indicated there was no identification.
That's how we came in contact with Malik and his co-defendant, which was shortly after, about 30 minutes after, 30 to 45 minutes. Units were circulating the area. We subsequently came in contact with Malik and his co-defendant, and they fled. He concealed himself, began to shed clothing, and then while we were searching for them, we came in contact with an independent third-party witness that would just happen to be in the park, and he gave a sworn statement advising that he observed Malik discard his jacket, his hoodie, and a firearm and a gun, and he also brought detectives on tape to the location where he saw Malik discard those items, and he identified him as the same person.
And were any items found?
Yes, we found the Tech 9 Uzi type, just for court purposes. It's easier to picture an Uzi. His jacket and the bicycle.
Firearm. Did it? Were you given a description by any witnesses that observed during the robberies observed Mr. Wilson in possession of the firearm?
Yes.
And did the firearm that was recovered match the description that was given to you by those witnesses?
Yes.
And it is in your probable cause affidavit. Was it advised to you that Mr. Wilson, post Miranda, gave a confession to detectives?
Yes. In reference to the firearm, not to the actual robbery themselves.
Anything else? Do you have any questions?
Well, Your Honor, we would be objecting to any cross-examination just pursuant to the rules of procedure, since this is a non-adversarial proceeding in nature.
Do you want to ask any questions? I'm not going to let you go through a full cross-examination, but did you have any questions with regard to either count 1, 2, or 3 in terms of what the state's offering and for probable cause? Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, Judge.
I said I'm not going to let you go into a cross-examination of the witness, but do you have any questions regarding the probable cause as it pertains to counts 1, 2, or 3? The state having indicated that they're not going forward as to probable cause on count 3, having no identification been made.
Judge, at this time, no.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, officer. I appreciate coming.
Thank you.
And you could step over to the podium there, ma'am, if you could. If you'd state your full name, please.
Judge, if I could also, just for the record, when I'm saying no, I have nothing to cross-examine, that is not taking away our right to have a full Arthur hearing.
The record's going to be clearly protected regarding your right to have a future Arthur hearing. Okay?
Great, thank you very much.
All right. Your name, ma'am?
Poe Anderson.
And your relationship to?
His mother.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Ms. Anderson. Today we're just here for what's called a probable cause determination, for me to determine whether or not the state has provided sufficient evidence for me to find what's called probable cause to detain your son and or to determine whether or not he's entitled to any bond here today. So he's there with an attorney from the Public Defender's Office who's assisting him, and I will tell you that on counts 1 and 2, charged robbery with a firearm, I do find probable cause, and I do find that the proof is evident and the presumption is great. Having made that finding pursuant to the case law that I'm required to do, it does not take away from the fact that Mr. Wilson would be entitled to an Arthur hearing at a future date with the services of an attorney in the presence of the judge who the case is actually going to be assigned to. So for purposes of today, on count 1 and count 2, pursuant to my finding of probable cause and proof evident presumption great, I'm going to hold Mr. Wilson with no bond as to each of those counts. On the count 3, pursuant to the state's indication that they don't believe that there was identification as of yet, I'll find no probable cause as to count number 3, the robbery with a firearm charge.
Your Honor, if I would also, just ask for an order of no victim contact. And, Your Honor, just to make, for record purposes, in addition to what Your Honor already stated about a future Arthur hearing, it is also the state's position, we concede, that if such an Arthur hearing is scheduled and heard, that the state would have to satisfy proof evident or presumption great again at that hearing.
Right. For purposes of today, the victims' names I have as one Daisha Key. Daisha Key Hughes. And the second victim? Okay, well, I'm going to enter an order with no contact with the victims in either of counts 1 and 2. You understand? That means indirect or direct.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for coming. I appreciate it. Did he know that his mother was here? He could see his mother?
He did see her, Judge.
Okay, just wanted him to know. Okay.
Thank you.
Sean Schaefer. Mr. Schaefer's here, looks like on a violation of parole. It looks like I have a confirmation. I do find probable cause that they're asking that he be held no bond on a violation of parole. He has no bond hold at this time. Keneal Headley. Good morning, Mr. Headley. Here on possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less. That's a misdemeanor charge. I do find probable cause. The bond is set in the amount of $100. You're also here on a violation of probation on a 2014 case, being held no bond on that case. Looks like you have a scheduled hearing in front of your judge on that case on June the 8th at 8:30 in the morning.
Just gave the first name. I don't remember the first name. He just gave the first name.
William Christopher Lake. Mr. Lake?
Mr. Lake? Lake? 1 second, Judge.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Judge, he's in the restroom. I don't know if the court wants to just skip
We'll call
over
it back. Dylan Cartwright. Good morning, Mr. Cartwright. Charged with possession of cannabis over 20 grams and also possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. Your bond is set on count 1 in the amount of $1,000. Robert Corey Thirsty. Mr. Thirsty, you're here charged with possession of a controlled substance without a prescription and possession of cannabis less than 3 grams or less. You understand? I do find probable cause. Bond on count 1 is set in the amount of $1,000.
Thank you, man.
Zachariah, yes. Press what?
The front door is locked.
She's just.
Don't, if you press it again, it will lock it. We don't know why it's doing that.
Okay. Usually that light comes on when it's unlocked.
No, the
If I
light
press
on
it again,
means
she
it's
says it'll
unlocked.
lock. So. Is it unlocked now?
Could you check? Jamie, check it.
I think the light on means it's unlocked, right?
Well, if he doesn't come back, we know he's locked out.
Because I know, because I know when you're
Still locked.
outside, when the light's on, it means it's unlocked.
Just love this
There you go.
technology.
It's unlocked now. Okay. Zachariah Wolgamott.
Main jail, yeah. Main jail.
Is this Mr. Wolgamott?
It is.
Okay, Mr. Wolgamott, you're here today. Possession of THC, possession of cannabis 20 grams or less, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. On count 1, bond is set in the amount of $1,000.
Okay.
Joseph Ritzy.
Judge, he indicated he's going to hire private counsel.
Okay, Mr. Ritzy, you're here today.
Yeah.
Mr. Ritzy, you're charged with possession of THC, possession of cannabis 20 grams or less, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause, and bond is set on count 1 in the amount of $1,000. Giovanni Donnell Tiggs.
Judge, we're requesting that be reset for the afternoon so his attorney could be here.
Who's that?
Rachel Newman from the Public Defender's Office.
Okay. Did you hear that?
I did explain it to him, Judge, earlier that she had asked that he be separately after the docket.
Okay, so we're going to reset it for 1:30.
Perfect. Judge, she also asked, I don't know if the court can do this, if he can be sent down to the juvenile detention hearing this morning so that they could take care of that. He's not going to be on the docket, but we weren't sure if they could send him there to handle that and then come back here at 1:30 or...
He has a juvenile hearing as well?
I believe so.
Okay, well, I can't really direct it to it. Maybe if you want to give before 1:30, if someone from your office wants to give a call and see if the juvenile judge wants to see him.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay. See you at 1:30 on that.
Okay, you'll be back at 1:30.
Chasworth Osborne Cloud.
Judge, he's going to hire private counsel.
Okay. We have some people here in the courtroom. Come on up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Cloud, can you see the people that are here in the courtroom?
I can, yes.
Okay, I don't want you to say anything about your facts of your case. Could you just please state your names for the record?
Chasworth Cloud.
Not you, the others.
Monique Weeks.
Pardon?
Monique Weeks. Charlitha Cloud.
And could you just tell me your relationship to Mr. Cloud?
I am sister.
I'm his girlfriend and live-in girlfriend.
Okay. And Mr. Cloud is here this morning charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill and possession of a weapon or ammo by a state felon. I do find probable cause. Does the state wish to be heard with regard to? Same thing in this case. The probable cause affidavit alleges aggravated assault with a firearm. The findings in order for probable cause says ag assault, deadly weapon without intent to kill. You understand?
You're asking.
Not you, sir. You need to listen. Can you hear us? I don't want you to speak or say anything about the facts of your case, okay?
All right.
Okay.
I believe the same statute covers firearms.
Okay. Just so
deadly
you
weapons.
know, I
Yeah,
just
of
want you to
course.
understand,
Yeah, of
okay?
course. Your Honor, I would just want to. I do confirm, and it's mentioned in the report, that Mr. Cloud was convicted of aggravated assault in the state of Georgia. That was in 2008. He also had a theft by receiving stolen property, 2013, out of Georgia. It does show a Georgia address on the arrest form and the booking sheet. Because he has a prior aggravated assault and the alleged use of a firearm in this case, excuse me, I'd be requesting a $15,000 bond on one, $2,500 bond on two, and no victim contact.
Okay, Ms. Weeks or Ms. Cloud, what, if anything, would you like to tell me not about the facts of the case, just about your relationship with Mr. Cloud? As it pertains to today, my whole purpose is to determine a couple of things. One, whether there's probable cause alleged in the report that was filed by the police, and that's a finding that I make, a legal finding. And then number two, determine what, if any, amount of bond I should set in this case. So what would you like to tell me about either of those two?
Can you repeat the first?
I'm here to determine whether or not there is probable cause alleged in the affidavit that was submitted by the police officer. I'm not here to pass judgment on guilt or innocence. I'm just here to determine whether or not there's sufficient facts upon which I can find probable cause, which is a lower standard than proof beyond a reasonable doubt, which is what's required if the case were to go to a trial. You understand that? So my finding this morning is as to probable cause. And I do find that there is probable cause for each of these offenses alleged in the police report. The next question is, then it's my determination as to what bond to set, what monetary bond to set. The state is recommending a $15,000 bond on count one and a $2,500 bond on count two. But I'm glad to hear from either of you, if you'd like to, regarding the bond matter.
I would like to request that the bond be reduced, and that he is able to, return back to Georgia as we can prepare, for future hearings.
He lives in Georgia.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And you live in Georgia with him?
Yes.
Both of you?
Yes.
Okay. So you were just down here. Don't say anything about the incident itself,
Sure.
but temporarily here when this occurred.
That is correct.
Is the address correct in Decatur?
Yes.
Ridgeland?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to, as I said, I do find that there is probable cause on each of these counts. I'm going to set bond on count one in the amount of $10,000, and on count two, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500. So the total bond is $12,500. And you can discuss with bondsman or the jail itself about how to post that bond, okay? I can't give you any advice on doing that. I'm simply here to make these findings here today, but I wish you good luck, okay? So the total bond is $12,500, sir, okay?
And Your Honor, we'd ask.
Also, if you were to make that bond, sir, you are to have absolutely no contact, direct or indirect, with Jamal Lawson. You understand? You understand that?
Yes.
And what that means, indirect, means having somebody else contact him? You understand? Okay. All right. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you for coming.
Mr. Lake is here now.
Okay. William Christopher Lake. Mr. Lake, you're charged with resisting an officer with violence. I do find probable cause as to that. Does the state have a recommendation?
Your Honor, it appears Mr. Lake is out on two separate felonies. One is a strong arm robbery, and the other is a burglary of a conveyance.
You have the case number for either of those?
Yes, I have for both. The strong arm robbery, which he's out on a $5,000 bond, 16-11103 CF10A. The burglary conveyance is 16-10717 CF10A, and that he's out on a $3,500. He's out on a $3,500 bond.
Okay, Mr. Lake, I do find probable cause with regard to the resisting an officer with violence on that case. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $5,000. As to case number 1611103 CF10A, I'm going to revoke your bond on that case based on the probable cause affidavit before me here today, indicating your arrest on this resisting an officer with violence charge. As to case number 1610717 CF10A, I'm going to revoke your bond on that based on the probable cause affidavit here today, if the state would prepare an order on each of those
Your Honor.
cases.
The case number for the second was 1616. I didn't get it.
Can you give it to me?
I got it. I can
One,
just give it
go
to you.
ahead.
16-10717 CF10A.
Thank you.
Roscoe Turner. Mr. Turner, you're charged with possession of cocaine and riding a bike without a lamp. I find probable cause, and the bond is set in the amount of $1,000 on count one. Glenn Edward McKinney.
North Broward.
Thank you. Mr. McKinney, you're here on 2 counts of violation of probation with Judge Rothschild. Excuse me, it looks like Judge Rothschild signed a warrant for your arrest for violating probation. Each of those cases have a $2,500 bond on it. Total bond is $5,000. If you do not bond out, you have a date to see Judge Rothschild on June the 5th at 8:30 in the morning.
All right.
Tavares Willis. Maine?
Main jail. 1 second, though, we're trying to find him. He bonded.
Bonded, okay. I do find probable cause. Daniel Zwick.
He's on medical loan.
It's a medical research.
So we'll reset it, medical reset. For tomorrow?
That's fine, Judge.
Tomorrow morning at 8:30? Rashawn Stewart.
Main jail.
Morning, Mr. Stewart. Charged with possession with intent to sell or manufacture, deliver heroin. Also charged with possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less. I do find probable cause, and on count one, the bond is set in the amount of $2,500. Are you here on his behalf?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you just state your name for us, please?
Kiana Charles.
Pardon?
Kiana Charles.
Okay. Mr. Stewart, you see somebody's here in the courtroom on your behalf?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Bond is set in the amount of $2,500 on this case.
Okay.
Okay?
Judge, if I could just ask, would the court reconsider either lowering or releasing him ROR? He's lived here all of his life. He has one child that's 1 year old. He has no money in the bank. He currently goes to Ely High School, where he's going to graduate. He indicated this coming weekend. I don't know if the court, he does have family members that live here in the area also, so I don't believe that he's a
Was he interviewed by pretrial release?
Yes, Mr. Stewart refused.
He refused, okay. Tell me your relationship to Mr. Stewart, ma'am?
Mother of his child.
Is that his baby that you're holding?
Yes, ma'am.
And he's scheduled to graduate from high school this weekend?
Saturday, June 3rd.
You live in Pompano Beach?
Yes, ma'am.
Any priors?
Possession of marijuana from last year, Judge.
I'll reduce the bond to $1,000.
Thank you very much, Judge.
This is a reset from yesterday. Demetrius Wilson. Morning, Mr. Wilson.
Morning.
Looks like this is a add charge of one count of burglary of an unoccupied structure unarmed, one count of grand theft auto, and one count of burglary of an unoccupied structure unarmed. Can you tell me what the other charges are?
Yes, Judge. He's got a $1,000 bond each on 3 separate counts of grand theft auto, and he's being held no bond on an armed carjacking and robbery firearm.
Okay. On count, I do find probable cause on count number 8, burglary of an unoccupied structure unarmed, I'm setting bond in the amount of $2,500. Count 9, grand theft auto, bond is $1,000. And count 10, burglary of an unoccupied structure unarmed, $2,500 bond on that as well.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. It looks like that's it. Are you all set over there?
Pretty good. Thank you very much.
Okay,